Hello and welcome to the Powerful Personal Brand Podcast, where I and my guests share tips to help and inspire you to build a great personal brand to increase your visibility and authority. I am your host, Claire Bond, and on today's episode, I am joined by Brandi Sheffield. I know that you talked about the importance of networking, and I suck at networking. I really do. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, please, Brandi, give us some networking tips, because I know that I need them. And I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there that does as well. So please tell us.
So I think what I would say, I don't know that I would like name it 1, 2, 3, but kind of like the bucket would be when you think about the sphere of influence. So whatever your job or your role is, right? You land somewhere on the org chart. There are peers that go in either direction of you in your same department and parallel departments. There are subordinates underneath you who support your work in your department and other departments. And then there are superiors, right, who stay. That sphere around you should be your network. And those should be the people who you are building really strong relationships with so that they become ambassadors of you. It is, again, back to that influence piece, that each of the people within that sphere see exceptional value in you and the ability to influence others, and the others, bit of support and so forth, so that they then recommend you to the next person or sing your praises about something. You're invited to the next table. So I think when people think about networking, it's either the scary thing of going to some mixer and being, super fake and handing do people even have business cards anymore? I don't even know how people do that anymore. Yeah, I don't even know, right?
Yeah.
Or the superficial going to the bar and, type of thing. But the truth is, the depth of networking is how you help other people within the job front and allow them to grow with you, because then they see you as a leader. They see you as a supporter. They're willing to then say, yeah, Claire, absolutely, I'd follow her wherever she goes. We call it the ambassador framework, right? So how a process for allowing people to then see you in that light. I think that would be the biggest just focus on networking that I would have for people.
Okay. Because I don't know that you would necessarily think about that. Yeah. As networking, it's just essentially kind of taking care of your group, essentially. Yeah. Right. Interesting. I do. One thing that I always thought I always just innately did, and I remember I told my stepdaughter this for the first job, is like, when you go into your first job, find out essentially who the gatekeepers are. So the receptionist, the IT.
Yeah.
Not that you need to suck up or whatever, but just, they are the ones that'll help you out of a jam. They're going to be there for you. Go and get them a coffee when you're getting a coffee. Just the little things, because no one appreciates them.
Right.
So by you being, no one appreciates them. Yeah. So I think, and then, then when you're like, oh gosh, I don't know how this is going to happen. They're like, well, I'll stay late to help you out because you always help me out. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't need to be done in a selfish way, but you're just, no one takes care of the people that make your life easier.
I'd love to tell you a quick little short example of that. It's actually with my mother, which is also how so much of this just transfers into my own life. And I have multiple client parallel examples, but I want to talk about my mom. So my mom was a janitor my whole life. And in the organization she worked in, she won Employee of the Month every month for 2 years. Every month. As the janitor. And her theory was, when the people in the office come and walk in, I want them to know that somebody cares about their workspace, that their workspace is designed and ready for them to show up and be their best. And she would leave them a pot of coffee ready every morning, not in her job description, and she doesn't drink coffee, but that was what she would do for them. And every month, and eventually they had to make up new categories because it just wasn't fair. Recognize some other people too, but it speaks to not only your position, but people are people. Your title doesn't matter, right? You respect people. And when you have a vision for your own excellence, you live out that excellence and you make impacts to the larger organization, not just do your job.
No, I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
My mom was a nurse, and she always kind of had that same kind of thing. Everyone was always just like, "Oh, Jenny's just so nice." Like, she struggled a long time when I was a kid before she kind of found her spot when I finally was went back to school, and when I was in high school, kind of got her first nursing job, and all of a sudden she kind of found her space where she was meant to be, to kind of help people. And she just was like where she kind of felt needed and necessary. So interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those helpers in the world are just, I love when they're kind of like, yay, they're given kind of a spotlight, because sometimes the helpers are just stepped on.
I think it also just parallels to the networking piece, because my mother knew everyone by first name, right? Like, granted, she started at like 4 a.m. And so she was only on site the first hour when everybody else got there, and then her day was over. But like, everyone knew each other by first name. And so when she was ready to leave being a janitor, I mean, without doubt, every person, the CEO, the managers, the directors, gave her glowing recommendations to recommend her to what she wanted to move on to. Of course, they were sad to leave her, but that's what it means to network and have people to be an ambassador of you. They see your leadership.
Yeah, I think that's a great example, and something that somebody can learn from about your very first job that you may really hate. You think it's beneath you. You may think that you can do better things.
Exactly.
My first job, I was a receptionist. But crazy enough, the person who hired me got my next 4 jobs. I was a receptionist to the head of HR. I made such an impression on her. She got my next 4 jobs.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep.
It's just that I didn't, I don't know. I was just me, but I made an impression. But it's an interesting thing, because you don't really think about that. So sometimes you're just like, I don't like this job. I don't want to do it. I should be doing more than this, and blah, blah, blah. But it did work. I saw it work for me. And it worked for your mom.
It works for everyone who's willing to take it on.